Today we're going to be, and when I say we, I've got a special guest here, thing number 2. It's hard to find good help these days, so thing number 1 wasn't around. We're going to be removing the intake manifold and throttle body and fuel injectors. All this good stuff right here. So the first step in this that my assistant's going to do is removing the spark plug wires. Have to disconnect the throttle position sensor and cut the band that's on this hose over here. Connect band first. All right, that is disconnected. We'll try and move that out of the way a little bit. Okay, and the next step is disconnecting the fuel injector connectors. All right, that's right. I got this. And the next step is to disconnect the fuel hose from the fuel rail. Wrapping this cloth around in case there's some dribbling. Hopefully there won't be any spray. Do that by getting these orange connectors to pull away from the sides. It's not easy. Definitely a little finicky. I've got a little screwdriver just in case, but I think my fingers will do it. There we go. So that orange connector pops off, which locks everything in place. There it goes. It was a little tough coming off, but you always want your fuel connections to be pretty tight, don't you? All right, it's off. And no leak. All right. Okay, now we're going to cover this up. We're going to cover up the fuel line. So before I cover this up, I'm going to turn it over and just dribble out any excess gas that might be in there. And then I'm going to take a little piece of cut rubber glove here and just cover the fuel line. So no debris gets in there while the engine's out and being rebuilt. Okay, we're really going to get it on there. So, love your zip ties. All right, so that is taken care of. Okay, so now we're going to disconnect some sensors from the harness. We'll pull this out of its clamps. We'll let the fuel line drop. We're going to disconnect this back here. Okay, that's one. All right, and remove this. Okay. Now the harness is disconnected. Next, we're going to be removing the fuel injectors and delivery rail, and that's with you have to remove these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to be using one of these, I don't know what you call it, a little ratcheting screwdriver, because there's no clearance again for a screwdriver in here really, unless you have some special wobble device, but this is what I'm going to use. And let's take care of that right now. So the next step is going to be removing the 5 bolts from the manifold assembly. And they're fairly straightforward. You're going to need a regular old hex key to get to this one, unless you've got another idea, but I'm going to use that on the 2 ends because of clearance. And then I've done a little investigation, and this is going to be the combination of tools I'm going to do to get at the center one in that valley right there. And then these 4 should be straightforward. So I'm sorry, there aren't 5. There are 7 total. 7 total 6mm hex bolts. All right, let's get to it.